Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the last video of the Kotlin series, we have discussed about the lambda expressions there, and I hope you have understood it about it. Now in this one, we will talk about arrays in Kotlin. So arrays are one of the most important data structures that are widely used in Kotlin as well as in other languages also. So we will see how can we create arrays in Kotlin, and arrays in Kotlin are also very powerful and it's really very powerful to use and very fun also because of so much functions and functionality that Kotlin provides to its arrays. So we will see how can we do it. First thing, to declare an array, we will start with val arr, and we can say a array of, and then we can write the elements inside the array. Okay, so suppose we have written 5 elements here. So this is an array of integers. Okay, you can create array of strings, you can create array of doubles. One important thing to note, that array data structure only have homogeneous values or homogeneous data type values. Okay, so if you are creating an array of integer, don't include doubles or floats or strings into it, and vice versa. Right, now we have created this array. Now we simply want to do, first thing is we want to print the array. So we will do like this, and we will simply go and print. So let's see how it looks like. So if you run the thing, now it comes in this kind of format. So array in Kotlin, if you cannot print it, Kotlin provides a function to it. So we can use content to string function to print this array, and now if you run the program, you will get the array in this format 1 2 3 4 5, which is perfectly fine. Now to access an element into the array, the next important thing, you can simply, what you can do is you can say print and then arr, name of the array, and then simply mention the index. So suppose I mention the index 0. Now array starts from the index 0. As all programming languages, you will see that the indexing always starts from 0, whichever data structure it is, whether it is array, whether it is list, set, map, or any data structure. The indexing always starts from 0. This is a fixed rule, okay, in all programming languages, not just in Kotlin. Okay, so by this way we can access the first element of the array. So if you just run the program, you will get the first element, which is 1. You can also change the first element of the array. So you can just say array 0, and you can assign the value to 10. And now if you simply print the array arr dot content to string, you will get updated array with the value 10. Okay, so and next is to print the size of the array. So we need to know how much length of the array is. So you can simply say arr dot size. Okay, and it will give you the size of the array. So the size of the array is 5 because the total number of elements is 5. Right, now when the important thing is, the compiler should know the length of the array at the compile time. So array is a kind of a data structure, or is a kind of a container in which you can store multiple values, but its size is fixed. Okay, so this is one important thing to note. Another very important thing that you must be wondering, that we have declared the array with the val keyword. Okay, and whenever a variable is declared with the val keyword, you cannot change its value. But here you can see that we are able to change the value inside the array, and it's not giving any error. So what this thing is about? So the reason behind this is, there is a concept of reference and there is a concept of object. Okay, so we have not yet discussed about classes and objects yet, but I'll try to explain you in a very simple word. Okay, so what you can consider, that when you say val arr, okay, what happens is, there is a stack area where this a value is created, variable is created. You can, okay, and when you say array of and you declare the values, there is a area in the memory which is known as heap memory. Okay, in that case an object is created. You can just for now just consider that memory allocation is done. A memory is allocated in your computer where this array is actually created, and this variable, okay, this a just points to it, so it acts as a pointer to this array object or this array memory, right? So if this is the case, then how this can be. So if you have not understood it properly, let me make you understood. So we'll go to here and we will say xcalidraw. Let me go to xcalidraw. Okay, so consider here that this is a stack area. Okay, we have not talked about it in detail, but for now you can understand, or forget about stack and heap. Okay, for now just consider that this is one memory block and this is another memory block. Now let's name this memory block as AR. Okay, this is a variable. When we say val a, then this memory block is created and its name is a. Okay, when we write this statement array of 1 2 3 4 5, then a memory block here is created and here multiple values are stored. So multiple values means a value 1 is stored here, then a value 2 is stored here, okay, 3 is stored here. So this is how the array is created in the memory. Okay, and the value, and these, because you are creating an array of integers, so the memory space that these values take is the same as any integer takes, okay, which is normally 4 bytes. Okay, now what happens is there is this ARR acts as a pointer to this memory. Okay, so if you are coming from a Java background, you must be able to understand it very clearly that this is a reference and here is the actual object, and this reference is pointing to this object. Now when we do val ARR, what you mean by this? So let's understand. If I do this and I create another array, suppose val, and I create another equal to array of, I say 4 5 6. Okay, so what will happen is another block will be created, okay, and it will name as a, and another block here also will be created which will have these values 4 5 6, okay, and 6. Okay, so let me rename it. Now this a will point to this memory block, so let's, or not like this, let's just point this to this. Okay, now when you declare when you write the keyword val, what happens is if you want to change, if you want that this ARR variable now should point to this one, it will not do so. So if I write something like ARR equal to a, this is an invalid. Why? Because we have fixed our reference that once our reference points to something initially for the first time, then it will point to that thing only. It cannot point to anything else. Okay, so that is a basic difference. Now if you write something like var, okay, or maybe I change this to var. Okay, if I change this to var, now if you say ARR equal to a, this is completely valid. But in case of this, if you instead you write a equal to ARR, this is invalid because the reference variable a is fixed. It cannot point to any other memory block. Okay, so this is for the purpose of memory safety. So you by mistake don't point to any invalid memory location. Okay, so this is the main difference between declaring or writing, between defining an array with val keyword as well as with var keyword. I hope you have understood this concept, what it means by val and var, and why we are able to change the values inside the array. Okay, the impact of val or var keyword doesn't apply to this memory block. Always remember that. Okay, so this is one thing. Let me remove this here. Now if you want to simply iterate over the element and access one element after other, then you can do like this. But if the array has hundreds of elements, then writing 100 of print statement doesn't seems good. So you can do something like for item in ARR, and you can simply print item. Okay, so if you print here, you will get 10 2 3 4 5, right? But if you want that I want an access to the index also, okay, so normally what happens is, if you see from other languages, you have to write bigger or traditional for loop like I equal to 0, I less than ARR dot length, I plus plus, all those things. But Kotlin makes it easy for you if you want to access of if you want to iterate using index, you simply have to say dot indices and then you just have to do this. Okay, so when you write item in array dot indices, the item is an item represents the index, and when you remove this simply here, item represents the actual value in the array. Okay, so if you print using this, then you will see that you are getting the same result. Okay, if you want to check if a particular element is present in an array or not, you can simply say if, suppose I want to check whether 3 is present in or not, so I can say 3 in arr, and I can write print we found it, else print not found. Okay, so this is how we can check. Also we can simplify this further. How can we simplify it? Let me comment it out. First let's run this. Okay, so if I run this, you will say it is written found. Now let's comment it out and write a simplified way. So you can, inside the print, you can say if 3 in arr found, else not found. So this is a very simplification of how you can write the above statement. We have already seen in the conditionals that if else are also not just an statement, they can also be used as an expression. Okay, so this if and else return this string here, right? And we have seen already in the previous videos, you can watch there. So if you run it, it will also give you the same result. Next important property of this is if you want to add an element to the existing array. Suppose I want to add one more element to an existing array. So as I've said that array is of fixed size, but if we want to do that, the way is we can create another array, copy all the elements of the previous array into the new array, and then we can add another element, right? But Kotlin provides a very easier way to do this. So you can simply say arr dot plus element. Okay, and you can, suppose I write 100. Okay, so this arr dot plus element will return me another array, a new array it will return. So if I say new array, it will return a new array, and if I print this new array dot content to string, so I can get all these things, right? So these were the content of the previous array. It added this element and gave us another array. Okay, but remember that this statement creates another memory block in our memory. Okay, this is another memory block it creates with an additional element 100. This array and this array is not the same. That is most important to remember. So if you check the references, print ln arr equal to new array, if you check like this, so if you check whether these two references points to the same memory block or not, if I run this, then you will get false. So which means that both references points to different memory location. Okay, so this is also one of the important thing. Suppose you want to get only a part of an array. I want to only get 2, 3 and 4. How can I get? So there is another method for it. You can say slice array, and you can simply pass 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the range you can pass. This is the first element, index 1, index 2 and index 3. Okay, this again will give you another array. So let's print this directly. Okay, we will use println, copy paste here and content to string, because it will give you another array. So if I run the program, I will get 2, 3, 4. So this is a slice of an array using the range. So this is about the slice of the array. So we have talked a lot about all the important methods and important ways how you can manipulate the array. There are many things that you can apply. If you search for the function, if you not, you can get the element using the get function. There is a set function. You can set the element at a particular index. Okay, then slice we have seen, plus element we have seen. The important function is this reverse. You can just use reverse to reverse the array. It will give you another array. Okay, sort is also there. Again, the same thing will happen. You can directly access the last index of the array. Now, one important thing I want to include here. Suppose I want to create an array which will have 5 elements, and all the 5 elements will contain the value hello. So how can I do that? So you can use the array class here, array class from Kotlin. For mention the in the brackets, which is known as the parameter. For now you can say actually it is a constructor, but for now you can consider it as a method or a function. We are passing an argument to it, so we can pass the size of the array, and then you can pass a lambda. Now inside the lambda just write hello. Okay, now if you print it a dot content to string, so you can see that you will get array with all elements having the same value. So this is another way. If you want a particular, there are certain coding problems where we want all the elements to be -1 or all the elements to be 0, filled with 0. Okay, so this is how you can do it. Also you can use certain, or you can provide certain logic and create the array with that logic. How you can do it? You can do something like val suppose b equal to, again use the array, provide the size, suppose I say size, and provide the lambda. In the lambda, now we have talked about the it keyword, if you remember from the previous video. So it keyword, if there is only one argument, if we have to provide, then we don't need to write something like this. Okay, x sub plus something like this. We can just use it. Now what does it gives us? We can simply write it *2. Okay, and it is valid. But what does the value it contains? In Kotlin, if you just mention the lambda like this, and if you use the variable it refers to the index of the array. Okay, so the first indexing, so an array of length 5 will have the length of, it refers to the index of the array. So an array whose length is 5, its index will start from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first the it value will be 0, 2. 0 into 2 is 0. So the first value of the array will be 0. Then next index is 1. 1 into 2 is 2. So next value will be 2. Next index is 2. So 2 into 2 will be 4. So this is how the value will be constructed. So if you print it here, b dot content to string, and if I print this array, you will get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so you can provide your own logic based on how you want to manipulate accordingly to you. You can use the index value, or you can use whatever you want to do, but you can construct the array with your own logic. That is the whole point behind this. Okay, so these were various things. One last thing I want to point out, that we can create an empty array. So I will say emp, and you can just say empty array, and here you have to, it is giving a diamond brackets. So in diamond bracket just mention the data type. Okay, so this is an empty array of integer. So in case you want to return an empty array due to a particular logic, you can simply return empty array of integers or empty array of string, whatever fits your use case. So if we just print this emp, and if I print this, then okay, sorry, we have to write content.toString, my bad. So if we print it, we get an empty array simply. There is no difference even if you write string also. Okay, it is same, but yes, you have to specify the data type. Okay, that is the main thing. So I hope you have seen and understood how arrays are created in Kotlin. Arrays are of fixed size whenever you try to, and they are immutable basically. So fixed size, immutable. If you try to add another element into the array, you will get a completely new array rather than the previous array being changed. Okay, these are some of the important functions here. Content to string prints the array, size gives the size of the array. This is how you can iterate the array through indices. Okay, and you can check whether a element is present in here or not. So I hope you have understood all the fundamentals of the array in Kotlin. I will see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.